Okay, so I found this clip by Stephen Harper really interesting, and I wanted to apply commentary to it. I'm really conflicted when it comes to Stephen Harper because he's a globalist, and very clearly so. And the criticisms people level at the Liberal Party are all true of him. The UN Sustainable Development Agenda was put in place primarily by him, and the immigration, uh, the the laws for immigration that we're operating on right now were not acted upon then, but they were put in place by him and the conservatives. And that's a really hard thing for a lot of conservatives to wrap their head around. You know, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of why things, played out that way. It could be that these people did so under duress. They were forced into these positions, or I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. And I'm just stating the facts as they are. I don't particularly know what to make of them. I only have theories, but I have a sense of regret when it comes to Stephen Harper because, I'm one of the retards who opposed him at the time based on little to no information. It wasn't based on anything that I just spoke of. It was more based on emotion and the people around me and the nonsense that they had to say about Stephen Harper. And, things like my neighbor. My neighbor was like, oh, he's going to get rid of the arts uh, grants and whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, but even at the time, I was like, yeah, but, if you have to fund your arts industry through the government, you don't really have an arts industry to begin with. So what's really the point in blowing a bunch of tax dollars on it? And of course, to him, it was, he was running an arts school. So of course, well, to fund art schools like me, like, of course. But yeah, it's stuff like that most people here in Canada opposed Stephen Harper on, which is to say, nothing of substance. So I do have a sense of regret there, but it is a fact that he put in most of the agenda that's completely destroying Canada right now.
I watch American politics all the time, and I'm just fascinated by this notion that is just everywhere now, the so-called woke notion that America is fundamentally a racist country, and yet what I see is all these supposedly repressed races trying desperately to become Americans.
It's so weird hearing him say that because I definitely agree with all that, and it's an objective fact that that's true. The safest place to be any of these groups of people is the United States, and they all claim that they're being targeted for destruction. It's just such a joke. But it's very strange hearing him say that because, these targeted minorities who all want to become American, and I realize now that I'm one of them. And that's how the tables have turned.
To join the United States.
Yeah.
So, it's not that there aren't problems, historical and present, that are real, but the core of our countries are great.
That's lip service. The core of our countries are great. No, the core of the United States is great. I can't tell you one thing that is great about the core of Canada. The United States is like a completely bloodied, battered body. It's just beaten the shit out of, and it's still in the fight. That's the way I look at the United States. I think it's accurate. Canada's the exact opposite. It's like no one's really actually tried to hurt us. Really. And we're like barely crawling along on all limb. And we're acting like the United States is like out to get us. They're out to ruin us with these tariffs. And it's like, no, this is like literally the entire thing is our doing. And I know that because I was one of the many people who warned the people here about a situation just like this. I didn't anticipate that it would come this soon within my lifespan, but when you fund 30, 40, 50% of your country's agenda on screwing your primary trade partners with tariffs, it leaves you wide open. It leaves your ass wide open for pounding. All it would take is somebody with the knowledge and the will to exploit that to their nation's benefit. And that's exactly what Trump did. So we just made the bed just right to get ruined at some point in the future, and then Trump comes along and we pretend like this all has to do with him, but it was completely of our making. And nobody here wants to have a rational conversation about it because there's no defense for it. There's no counter argument to what I just said. It's just screaming. It's just lashing out and pointing, jabbing your chest, and that's basically all they got. And, you know, that's okay, but it's not going to win a trade war from a losing position. So, no, there's nothing really great about the core of Canada. I can't point to one thing, like one idea, one principle, even some like cultural motif that is like, yeah, we should stand by that. Everything's bad. It's like we're a nation that has completely open borders. We're the first post-nation state. That's not just according to Justin Trudeau. That's according to his party's agenda. Know that. Know that. That's according to the opposition. And if you're going to claim to be opposition yourself, to be a conservative who is particularly conserving something of note, you have to address that. Not pretend that it doesn't exist, but you have to address that and you have to be accountable for it. I don't agree with it. I don't know what you're going to say. I don't know what your position is going to be as a conservative, but it has to be something, because this whole pretending that you're not part of the problem is really not helping you. It's not helping you. It's not helping anyone, but particularly it's not helping you. And so, you know, it is what it is. That you know, to say something like that is to say that, you know, this cake that I put together the recipe for, I engineered it myself. You know, I put it in the oven and everything was perfect until it came out and now it's ruined. It's like, well, whose fault was that? Was it the oven or was it you? Either you cooked it too long or you put too much of something in, you know, whatever the fuck it is. But, you know, you look at the country right now and it's like, you can't point to any one thing. You can't point to any one person or any group of people and say, well, you know, it was their fault. Most people here nowadays, they even liberal people are coming along to, you know, the problems with immigration. But the truth is, it's not their fault. Like, these people are exploiting us. They're exploiting the faults in our policy, the faults in our thinking, in our philosophy, in our values. But it's not their fault. Anyone would do what they're doing. You would do what they're doing. We are the problem. Our people are the problem. Their lack of vigilance, their lack of concern or curiosity or just basic awareness is what brought all of this upon us. And no one wants to take accountability for it. So I'm not going to sit here and, you know, pay mind to lip service. Canada's a great nation. Oh my God. No. Can you tell me what's great about it? I'll hear you out. Can you tell me what's great about it?
And they have great futures, and there is no alternative. the adolescent egos of the woke university crowd is not an alternative governing philosophy for any society.
That's definitely a fact, obviously. But again, this is a scenario of our making. Like, we made these people, we're responsible for them. It's like those parents who, like, their kid is like a complete psycho and on drugs and stealing from them and sometimes ultimately murders them. It's like, wow, I don't know where that came from. It's like, I think you got an idea. I think you got an idea. But, those kids are the result of psychological operations gone on inside our universities, weaponizing the youth of our nations against ourselves. And we just sat there and did nothing and allowed it to happen. That's our fault. How is it not our fault? All these people here talk about the woke, the woke, the woke. What are the woke doing now? They got litter boxes. And it's like, okay, well, when are you going to stop taking your kid to school? Oh, I can't do that. It's like, why not? Like, you just told me that they're in an environment where the only purpose they serve is to be propagandized and raped and literally shit in a box. How is that better than sitting at home with an iPad? So, forgive me, I'm failing to see where this is, his fault, or the university's fault, or, the elementary school's fault, and not yours. I'm not a parent. I think being a parent right now would be a nightmare, to be fair. But if I were a parent, I mean, there's no fucking way I'm putting my kid in a Canadian school system. Are you kidding me? So, yeah.
And
I gotta watch the rest of this. I'd have so much more to say, but that's my input on it.